working that body so that you can serve. 6, 7, 8. Now stretch. 2, 3 arms. One of these whack MCs. We want to show you things the 95. 6, 7, 8. Now turn. 3, 4. Niggas that think we trippin', breathe. 2, 3. Setbacks to your mind through style again and reach. 2, 3, 4. The mic. 2, 3. Your skills when you're building that body so that you can serve. 6, 7, 8. Now stretch. 2, 3 arms. One of these whack MCs. We want to show you style the 95. 6, 7, 8. Now turn. The mix it 4. Niggas that think we trippin', breathe. 2, 3. Setbacks to your mind through style. 3.
If it wasn't for a mic check, I wouldn't have a check at all. 1, 2, check a 1, 2. If it wasn't for a mic check, you wouldn't have a check at all. Check 2, a mic check 2. If it wasn't for a mic check, I wouldn't have a check at all. 1, 2, check a 1, 2. If it wasn't for a mic check, you wouldn't have a check at all. 1, 2, and I'ma check you. I start most of my raps off kinda slow, just so you can see exactly where we're gonna go. I'll make sure your body's strapped in, cause I'm a tailspin and you're liable to get drunk. The Bible is the microphone. I read from the scripture, leave it up to you to see the pictures. I look for above MCs like a flying saucer, with the sorcery to alter the future. The present and the past, I'll be hesitant to ask me to be the man, I'll be the last. I'll be moving fast on that ass. I stipulate your fate. I take a grip, I take a shot, I'll break your place. Now can you take the weight or do I have to make it lighter, tighter than you could imagine that I had it been when I recite a rhyme? I might as well be inside of your mind. I know you thinking, damn, how does he, what was he, a man? Or a machine with computerized diagrams? I tell him no, I am of the flesh, fresh, dope. I'm set apart, you're just a shot in the dark, and the darkness casts no shadow. And I'll be victorious no matter who I battle. So every rapper in the house, shut the fuck up. Cause if it wasn't for a mic check, you wouldn't have a check at all. Check 1, check 2. If it wasn't for a mic check, I wouldn't have a check at all. Check a 1, 2, check a 1, 2. If it wasn't for a mic check, you wouldn't have a check at all. I check 1, check 2, now I check. Now everyone knows I got the milk like D. Homemade work to get your wing filled like it should. Top of the morning to you, so many ways to do ya. I give you the shield just before I deal them. I recommend now when I squeeze the pus from your skin, you pretend it ain't happening. Cause everywhere is my stomping ground. When the MC stepped in, I stomp them down to the lowest. You the slowest rapper that I met, but you owe us all a favor not to jet. Not until you show us you be flipping. I give your body lashes and whipping. I crashes the board like Pippin. I had to be tripping. Like for your pleasure or your entertainment, I came with a crew called Sale, and everybody looked just like me. And we agreed that we don't fool, we got flavor, and everyone knows who's to save. Because everyone knows, everyone knows, everyone knows I got flow. And if it wasn't for a mic check, I wouldn't have a check at all. I check 1, check 2, now I'm through with you. Yeah, peep this out, peep this out, peep this out. This is real life, right? And we are fully animated, highly intelligent, original life forms landing in your living room. Now back up from the television, I need breathing room. We'll be leaving soon on the runaway brain train to sustain and settle. Cause wild game can't be tamed, the tackle, the shackle when I echo this mic check. You know that. Can't hold back the blowback when I flow that. Ooh, blew his wig back. I'm trying to ride pig back. Now dig that. I done slid back, use my viewfinder. I'ma give you a reminder. I'm on the straight and narrow with no blinders.
no blinders, but I still see the rhyme designers that buy like sidewinders. With 10 toes down, I spin flows round and round at an angle with anger, the angular warlock like strangler, sociopathic, graphic, psycho symptom, drastic, plastic coated, bloated, fatty tissue acid. I'm Jurassic, I am masking with a bread basket full of molded yeast. The stench is a clencher once the gases are released. So inhale, cause you know you inhale as it is in heaven. This is to my sister and my brethren, and it goes.
If it wasn't for a mic check, you wouldn't have a check at all. Check one, check two.
Let's begin. Assalamu alaikum, people of goodwill. I offer you the greeting of thought, manifest the skill to finally reveal the open-end chapter. As real as the flesh that you're embodied in. Till the skull cavity, your mind is rotten, and I'll be riding in. And it might have been a slight rotation warp to curve the course. Of course I'm cordial when I report. I won't distort, I don't contort, connect, conduct, collect, console, or conceal. In full control of the role of the real. My eyes are my appliance to decipher the science, omitting defiance with a high-tech mic check. The buttons that flashed are pushed for absolute destruction. Your structure is lifted from the ground. The foundation mound is broke, so you float around. I'm embedded in what is known as beat. Let it be shown every enzyme is complete. In time you'll see the pace of the pulse pump. Rapidly, heart rate happily marched. I happen to be the dark man who holds the charts. Or arch my horizontal line to make a rainbow. But it ain't the same though. Yo, the tried and true pros are chasing fools go. Sliding through holes like small rodents is obviously evident. My embellishment peaks at 292 IQ. Cause Big Ace is the spinner, in the sinner, inventor. And I plan to be a winner, meaning I'll be in the inner, outer, ovaries, overlord, overboard, overseas, here and overseas, more than the I can, limited, primitive, sentimentalist, escapist. The way I shape this landscape automatically makes it vivid. I give it a ribbon, hold it, stand at the pivot. I love it, learn it, live it, then give you my exhibit. Not inhibited, not even a little bit. When I'm inclined, my attempts to redefine no hip-hop guidelines, and you can play the sideline, live rhymes in your spare time. My attempts to redefine no hip-hop guidelines, you can play the sideline, live rhymes in your spare time. Cause I'd rather stimulate your mind than emulate your purpose. And we have only touched on the surface of the serpent. Consider me part of the dust, and the dust I must collect the samples from the rust. Penetrate the crust and trust no living. Driven by the sonic language passion, your ashes sparks the flashes of the neon from beyond. What kind of planet could I be on? I don't know, but I'ma be on for eons and eons. While many think that they can never play out, get trapped in a time frame and never find a way out. I stay off the dramatization and I balance, always seeking the challenge to show the world the incredible talents. I cut the corners, smooth out the surfaces. Worthlessness is just half of the problem. I read and gritty kid, I did every column. I know the animal kingdom and the fight of wild style. Until they get to hit the target, I'll mark it on the bullseye. I fly in the buffalo wing in the sky. My architect technique sparks the dark streets of your resting ground. I suggest that you warn your town. I inhabit the oxygen more off the memory. You will never forget to remember the lone Wolverine, marine biologist machine with the verbal internal mind fertile. Foot over hurdle, tight like girdle. When my word will be the last, I incubate every other millennium. I fast and I hibernate to pass any of them. I am potent, untraceable. color, no odor, no taste, no replaceable part. No heart, no head, just a carcass. The darkest days come right before the light. I watch my watch and stand right before the mic. But the power's vested in me, I digested MC's food for thought. Caught on to the end of the rope and swung, then stood stiff as if I was on a cliff, not beneath sticks. My feet are made of bricks when I walk, my footprints indent cement. I am not practical, nor am I unusual, nor am I oblivious to hideous crimes. Every city is captured and trapped in my mind, given the spinal tap as the final rap climbs. My attempts to redefine your hip-hop guidelines. You can play the sideline, ride rhymes in your spare time. My attempts to redefine your hip-hop guidelines. You can play the sideline, ride rhymes in your spare time. Cause I have become the night owl on the prowl, master of the free pen pal style. Cause I'm omnipotent, I'm some government experiment that is out of control. I'm from some big black hole. I score up, select and wrecked every tangle. I flare up and you can try any angle, even Bermuda. But I bury the barracuda, then I'm octagon in the wind with the pollen. The pollen, the pollen.
They know it's on a Harry.
Yo, that's enough for the guidelines. That was my theme music.
Well, let me go to my karaoke playlist.
But this is my motherfucking theme song. Check it out.
Tommy has 5 minutes to make a decision if he doesn't.
Rewind. We can do that. That's right. Get it on Whenever you ready,
Let's begin. Assalamu alaikum, people of goodwill. I offer you the greeting of thought, manifest the skill to finally reveal the open-end chapter. As real as the flesh that you're embodied in. Till the skull cavity, your mind is rotting and I'll be riding in. And it might have been a slight rotation warp to curve the course. Of course I'm cordial when I report. I won't distort, I don't contort, connect, conduct, collect, console, or conceal. In full control of the role of the will. My eyes are my appliance to decipher the science, omitting defiance with the high-tech mic check. The buttons that flashed are pushed for absolute destruction. Your structure is lifted from the ground. The foundation mound is broke, so you float around. I'm embedded in what is known as beat. Let it be shown that the enzyme is complete. In time, you see the pace of the pulse pump. Rapidly, heart rate, happily marched. I happen to be the dark man who holds the charts. I arch my horizontal line to make a rainbow. But it ain't the same though. Yo, the tried and true pros are chasing fools go. Sliding through holes like small rodents is obviously evident. My embellishment peaks at 292 IQ. Cause Big Ace is the spinner, inner, sinner, inventor. And I plan to be a winner, meaning I'll be in the inner, outer ovaries. Overlord, overlord, overseas, here and overseas. More than the I can. I scan limited primitive, sentimentalist, escapist. The way I shape this landscape automatically makes this vivid. I give it a ribbon, hold it, stand at the pivot. I love it, learn and live it, then give you my exhibit. Not inhibited, not even a little bit. When I'm inclined, my attempts to redefine your hip-hop guidelines. And you can play the sideline, ride rhymes in your spare time. My attempts to redefine your hip-hop guidelines. You can play the sideline, ride rhymes in your spare time. Cause I'd rather stimulate your mind than emulate your purpose. And we have only touched on the surface of the serpent. Consider me part of the dust. In the dust, I must collect the samples from the rust. Penetrate the crust and trust no living. Driven by the sonic language passion. Your ashes spark the flashes of the neon from beyond. What kind of planet could I be on? I don't know, but I'ma be on for eons and eons. While many think that they can never play out. Get trapped in a time frame and never find a way out. I stay off the dramatization and I balance. Always seeking the challenge to show the world the incredible talents. I cut the corners, smooth out the surfaces. Worthlessness is just half of the problem. I read the critic kid, I did every column. I know the animal kingdom and the phylum wild style. Until they get to hit the target, I'll mark it on the bullseye. I fly in the buffalo wing in the sky. My architechnique sparks the dark streets of your resting ground. I suggest that you warn your town. I inhabit the oxygen, more off the memory. You will never forget to remember the lone marine biologist machine with the verbal internal mind fertile. Foot over hurdle, tight like girdle. When my word will be the last, I incubate every other millennium. I fast and I hibernate to pass any of them. I am potent, untraceable. No color, no odor, no taste, no replaceable part. No heart, no head, just a carcass. The darkest days come right before the light. I watch my watch and stand right before the mic. By the powers vested in me, I digested MC's food for thought. Caught on to if I was on a cliff, not beneath sticks. My feet are made of bricks. When I walk, my footprints indent cement. I am not practical, nor am I unusual, nor am I oblivious to hideous crimes. Every city is captured and trapped in my mind, given the spinal tap as the final rap climbs. My attempts to redefine your hip-hop guidelines. You can play the sideline, ride rhymes in your spare time. My attempts to redefine your hip-hop guidelines. You can play the sideline, ride rhymes in your spare time. Cause I have become the night owl on the prowl, master of the free pen pal style. Cause I'm omnipotent, I'm some government experiment that is out of control. I'm from some big black hole. I score up, select and rest every tangle. I flare up and you can try any angle, even Bermuda. But I bury the barracuda, then I'm octagon into winning with the power.
Yo, that's enough for the guidelines. That was my theme music. Yes, man.
Yes,
But
man.
I ain't a yes man.
But I'm not a yes man.
Greetings.
This is AC Alone speaking to you. Sound, mind, and physical. Introducing you to a collection of my works, accompanied by producer Mumbles and a collection of his works entitled Book of Human Language. The Book of Human Language consists of 15 chapters. The guidelines, the balance, the energy, the hurt, the hole, the walls and the window, the Jabberwock, the grandfather time clock, the reason, the march, the vision, the faces, the hunt, the thief in the night, and human language. I hope you enjoy. The second somebody dies, somebody else is born. People are celebrating while other people mourn. Home may be home to you, but to me it's foreign. Even a matador don't pull the bull by the horn. One man's enemy is another man's friend. One man's poison is another man's medicine. So let us stand, let us sit, and let us view the change of the guard. So it's so hard to keep the truth. It's the balance of the scales. It can't be challenged or expelled. Soon as somebody lost, somebody else prevails. Someone is quiet at the same time someone yells. Half full or half empty. Water in the well. It's the half and half hypothesis. The 50-50 theory. Every as it may seem, check the balance bill. The half and half hypothesis. The 50-50 theory. Every as it may seem, check your balance beamer with a feather and a rock. And whether or not you find the answer is really not the plot. See, it's like love and hate. The same emotion, different weight. You would love to hate, so I know you know just how this all relates. So
know. Balance your emotions. Push and pull positions like the moon pulls on the ocean. Balance on one foot, that's equilibrium. Opposites attract and retract, that's a fact. 108 degrees, but not that hot. So whether or not you find the answer, it's really not the clock. It's given is received, seeing is believed.
The following program is a UWTV classic.
It's perfectly balanced. It's perfectly balanced.
From the University of Washington in Seattle, Upon Reflection with Al Page. Our guest is Professor Noam Chomsky from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and a guest lecturer at the University of Washington.
What determines how language in a particular country evolves? Why is French, for example, so different from German?
Well, first of all, you're assuming French is different from German, and
The French would probably say so.
there's no simple measure of how different languages are from one another. In fact, if you look at the languages structurally, the way the linguists would look at them, French is different from the other Romance languages in a variety of ways, which make it more similar to German and other Germanic languages. There are a number of features of French which are sort of Germanic in character.
Give us some of those features.
Well, to take a simple one, in all the Romance languages, except for French, you can delete the subject of the sentence. You can say the equivalent of walks to the store means he walks to the store. You can do that many ways. You can do it in Italian or Spanish. In fact, it's common Romance. Right back to Latin. French is the only Romance language in which you can't do that. It's like a Germanic language, pretty much in that respect. There they have what they call credits, small pronouns that you attach to the verb. You say the equivalent of I, him, saw. That's common Romance. But in the other Romance languages, you can do things like I, him, want to see. You do that in all me, I want to see him. So it's not in French. And for a variety of constructions, actually, there are quite a number of respects in which French is different from the other Romance languages. Incidentally, Old French, Middle French, say French in the medieval period is not like the other Romance languages. So something happened to it that made it less like the Romance languages and more like the Germanic languages.
How does language change over time? How did 18th century French change compared to 12th century French?
Well, you know, when we talk about language change, that's very misleading. I mean, there is no such thing as a language in French. I mean, up until, say, the turn of the century, you could find people in nearby villages in France who couldn't understand virtually could not understand one another. The idea of a national language is a pretty modern phenomenon. It has to do with the rise of nationalism and communication and so on. Or take, say, Italy today, or Germany today. I mean, the differences among the things that we call German are enormous, so enormous as to lead to non-mutual intelligibility. You have to learn the national language when you go to school. It's a different language than the one you spoke at home. When we talk about language changing, what's actually happening is that there's it's kind of like species changing. There's a mixture of all sorts of dialects, and the mix changes over time, either because of conquest or some political change, or boundaries are drawn in a different place, or some kind of commercial interchange or whatever. The mixture of these things changes over time, and You know, you take a look at it a few centuries apart, it looks like there's a different language. But what happens is that between generations, there are usually small changes having to do with other influences from the outside and so on. And these things are cumulative. Sometimes they lead to pretty dramatic changes. I mean, within a couple of generations, the language can change structurally in quite dramatic ways. And of course, in, say, lexicon, you know, the words of the language, well, that's a different matter altogether. So when technology develops, you get a whole new vocabulary.
But if you were in France in the 12th century and you understood all the nuances of language, could you have predicted how these various languages would have evolved over time?
No, that's totally impossible. I mean,
is it partially random?
It's not so much that it's random. It's not actually random. For all we know, it might be completely deterministic. There's just too many factors involved. It's like, you know, it's like predicting the weather. There's just too many things going on. Human life is a pretty complicated affair, and